Hey guys, so I'm here to tell you about Facebook interaction and how to make the most of what you're doing online in that capacity. So, a lot of times we make the mistake of starting a Facebook group and then on the regular, just using it as a place to dump doTERRA information. Now, that is a good thing. We want to be able to relay the information in an effective format, and Facebook groups have proven to be a really great place to kind of drum up excitement and share content and kind of build a community. But what I think a lot of people are dealing with these days is not so much interaction in the Facebook group. But I'm going to tell you that Facebook groups are actually the best way to stay in front of your customers. A lot of people will immediately start a Facebook page when they start their own doTERRA business, or any business for that matter. And while I see that as like a great landing place, people will search Facebook and find you that way. It's actually not that great of a place to relay good content for folks. Maybe a little bit here and there. Facebook pages are really developed now because to be used as advertising outlets. So you can pay for people to see what you posted. Even if people have liked your page and follow you, they're not going to see what you post on your page most of the time. So that's why we want to use a group, and we really want to encourage our customers and our potentials maybe, and you kind of define the rules of your group, to start interacting in your group and use this as a place to really develop community. So we don't want to just think about it as a place that we're just like spewing information. And I'm going to hit on a few things that people normally do that are not so good. Some mistakes that maybe you're making, maybe you're not making, maybe you already know all of this, but it's always good to review, right? But why people aren't interacting, and that's the main thing that we want in our groups, is interaction. And there are some tips and tricks that you can do to get interaction to happen. It can be giveaways, contests, polls, questions. Anything that requires them to answer you back is really, really important. Tagging people is something that actually helps a ton. So when you have new members, you want to always use the welcome option and say, hey, welcome, we're thrilled to have you. And maybe even have a step-by-step guide for people to maximize the group themselves. And now I'm saying that, I'm like, man, I need to improve my group in that way. I don't think it's that clear. But anyway, so groups can be really, really powerful tool for reaching people. Another thing that people commonly make, a mistake that people commonly make, is they fire hose information. Now, people will follow a group along for a while until there's too much and it's filling up their feed, and then they're like, yeah, I can't handle all of these notifications, and they'll change their notifications, and then they'll no longer see the stuff in the group as much. So you want to be conscious of that, and you want to not bombard people with too much, because when they get on Facebook, they want their balance of their feed to be, friends and so on and so forth, and not just all the doTERRA group stuff. So don't bombard and fill your group too much. But encouraging folks to follow what's happening in the group by changing their settings is a really good thing to do. So fire hose syndrome, avoid fire hose syndrome. Yes, I know it's exciting in the fall, and people are ready in the fall for a lot of information because they're looking for those new products. But you want to be a little bit careful about not putting too much on on people's plates and overwhelming them. Okay. One thing that people often don't do is they post a lot of like content and facts without asking questions. And questions are really, really easy. And I try to involve a question in almost every post that I make. And it really does encourage people to share about their use of that oil, or their interest in that product, or whatever. But as an example, we just found out that we're going to have some citrus bloom products, which everyone is already excited about. So this was an easy one. But instead of just posting, look what's coming this summer, which people would have commented on, I said, who would be excited about this coming, right? And then people are like, me, right? Because they know that question is, I'm talking to them. I want them to participate in the conversation, right? And it just opens it up a little bit more to that feedback. And that's really what we want. And it can be a little vulnerable sometimes to ask a question and leave it open for people to answer however they want. Like, who loves LLV, right? Somebody could say, I don't, I hate it. And that might be a worry that we have kind of deep inside of us. Maybe we're afraid to talk about loyalty rewards order because we're worried about the feedback that we might get. Maybe we're worried to talk about the business because we're worried that maybe somebody's going to have a negative feeling about that. But here's what I can promise you. If you're doing a good job, people will have negative feelings. And that's okay, because it's not on you to manage all of that. You just need to manage what you want to share in your video. Sorry, there goes my coffee maker. Self cleans. Anyway, so asking questions is really, really key. And this is true almost across the board. If you're contacting someone, leave it with a question. If you're following up with somebody, leave it with a question, okay? So you want to tag people. You want to encourage people to tag people. You want that involvement to build. You want to answer questions as much as you can and be accessible and be open-minded. Talk about safety and talk about the things that are important to people. And maybe even take a poll in your group and say, what is the most important to you topic-wise? Is it weight loss? Is it pets and oils? Is it kids and oils? You have sort of you need to be thinking about what meets the needs of your customers the most. You need to be yourself, okay? That's the other thing is I think a lot of people are intimidated to get on there and share a lot about their personal story or to go live. Going live is the best thing you can do in your group. You need to go live. Your people need to see you. They need to hear your voice. They need to hear your recipes, how you love the oil specifically, not just the memes from doTERRA, not just the recipes you find online. Find and make a recipe that you love and post that and share that and say, this is one of my tried and true. This is what I love. This is what I'm doing. They want to know what you're doing ultimately. So that's what we want our groups to be. We want our groups to be about what are we doing and how are we helping our customers and creating and developing that community based around your love of your customers and of your product. And so just avoid some of those things. Avoid fire hose syndrome, avoid not asking questions, and avoid not being more vulnerable and doing these live videos that you maybe are intimidated to do. I hope that's all helpful, and maybe ask some questions, and I'm happy to answer if I can. Enjoy!